Okay, so this is slightly longer, this video, but I'm going to try and delve into binge eating a bit more. And what I would say is that, to start with, if there is any other option, well, no, not any other option, but if you're thinking about you just want to eat loads of food because it'll make your problems go away, like, it does not. It 100% makes things worse. And I get that there's different situations, like you might have just broken up with somebody, or you might have just had a shit day, or anything that's kind of like put you in a bit of a downer, and you turn to food to kind of go, it's just gonna make myself feel a bit better. That's fine. Like, I wish I could do that. But back to the binging for me is completely different. For me, it was an entire loss of control where nothing else really mattered. That was for the hours before and days before, or even you could almost plan it a week before a lot of the time. You're consumed by it, like, not the actual eating, but the planning of it. You're thinking of the foods that you're going to eat. You're thinking of where you're going to do it. You're thinking of how you can make sure that you've got no other plans around it. If you live with people, you don't want anybody else in. Like, so for me anyway, it's a real secretive act. And that kind of stems from the shame, the guilt, like, because it's gluttonous. You are shoveling food down, and this was before bulimia, and that was a whole other ball game. But focusing on binge eating, and you kind of just ate until you couldn't eat anymore. And now with bulimia, you would obviously make yourself sick, or do whichever, like whether you went and worked out or you took laxatives and stuff. But you could kind of go again. Whereas with binging, you just ate and ate and ate until you were hurting. And there's a couple of times where, like, I remember once I was at my ex-girlfriend's house years ago. She was living in London, and she was out, and I had the house to myself, and I don't know why, I just lost control, and like I ate so much food, a lot of sweet stuff. And she came back in the evening, and I couldn't even talk to her. I had to pretend I was asleep in bed. And then maybe like half an hour later, I just had to get up, and I had to go outside in the middle of like North London and sleep on her doorstep, because I needed fresh air. I needed to be like, feel that breeze, because my body was just like, it was just in bits. And I remember that so clearly. It was the only place that I could feel any comfort. And I just like didn't fall asleep, but just like napped for an hour, like just there on her doorstep in a pretty ropey part of North London. But I that wasn't the end of it for me. Like, I did it multiple times after that. And why do you do it? Like, I can't lie, there is a euphoria that comes with it when you break that decision to say, okay, I'm going to do it. That moment there is the moment that, now looking back on it, that I liked. The rest of it, like, sure, the food was like tasty, it was food I wanted to eat, but it was that moment where you kind of go, like, I've restricted for so long, like I'm so like stressed out, and I'm locked in, and I have no freedom. And then all of a sudden you have all the freedom in the world, and you kind of go like, I'm an adult, I just do what I want. And yeah, man, I would just go and like, I'd go to 3 or 4 different supermarkets because I'd be embarrassed about all the food that I was putting in my shopping trolley, because it was kind of like a kid was shopping. There was no like greens or any good food. It was literally all chocolates, sweets, biscuits, pizza, pasta, man, like desserts, ice cream, just anything, breads, like, anything and everything would just go in my trolley. It was all beige, but like, it's all I wanted. And I would get home and I would just eat it in front of the TV. And and just get it down me, and then I'd stop because I felt sick, and I'd be like, why have I done this? And if it was late on in the evening and it was night time, I could probably just think, I'm just going to bed. But if I'd done that at lunchtime, which I did a lot of the time, it meant that by about 5 o'clock, I was ready to go again, and like just stuffed my face until I felt sick and hurt. And that was it. And none of that part of it is good. The only good part is that break from going, I'm not doing this, to I'm doing this. And I'm really glad that I don't have that anymore, because your whole week revolves around that one tiny split second decision, and it's just not worth it. I hope that's kind of like shown you, or like explained what it's like for me anyway, and I think it's the same for a lot of people with binge eating disorder. Luckily I don't have that now, but I just wanted to make a longer video that wasn't just 90 seconds, that kind of explains it a bit more. And yeah, if you, like I say with eating disorders, it's not something you decide on, but if you feel that you're slipping into that, then try and get hold of it quickly, because it's very easy to make that something that you hinge your bad emotions on. And when things get even remotely hard, you go, I'm going to go to binging. And it's, once you're in it, it's a real slippery slope. And it took me a long time to get out of it. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because it's horrible. So yeah, hope that explains binge eating for me anyway, and for quite a lot of other people.